Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. It's a Monday and that can only mean one thing. It's a Sunday preview roundup. Now, before we get into that, there's just something a little bit extra that I want to share with you. And let's take a look at these. So it's a Monday and Games Workshop have dropped a little Chaos teaser, and that comes in the form of new Chaos Mutilators. Now, anyone familiar with the Chaos range will know that they've had the new sculpt Obliterators for a good few years now. They came out with the Shadow Spear box, which was entirely easy to build and entirely, well, on the Loyalist side it was all Phobos Marines, and the Chaos side had the Venom Crawler, it had the Obliterators, because they share the same sprue. This sprue, these ones, and now they come out with the Mutilators. It's only taken a few years to get there, but they look awesome. They're a bit more armoured than their Obliterator counterparts. You can see this one has a lot of thigh armour, whereas the Obliterators do not. They're around in their metal pants. But these look pretty sweet, to be fair, and I think you'll have seen a glimpse of these in the recent preview show, because they had a bit of a tease for the Iron Warriors at the end of it, and I think one of those clips was part of these. I think this guy's got giant tusks hanging off his shoulders. I think that was shown. That looks familiar. Just a piece of metal spike sticking out of his hand, why not? But no, very, very cool. Very much loving those. Now, I did have something else I wanted to share as well. So yes, I've added to my pile of shame, and I have Titus and his Wardens of Ultramar added to the collection, and sometime in the not too distant future I will get them all assembled and hopefully do some painting videos on them, because I've not painted Ultramarines yet, so I will have a go and see what you all think. Need to try and do Titus justice though, because he's a pretty awesome character in his own right, it's got to be said. So, what we are here for, the main event one might say. Sunday preview. And this week it's all about Mortal Realms, of which I know very little. But what I do know is they've got some Tzeentch stuff coming. Now these were shown off on the recent preview, if I remember rightly. This guy looks pretty cool, I remember seeing him. And I love that model. I've always been a sucker for the models on discs when it comes to Tzeentch. I really, really liked them, even back in the day. When I first got into the hobby, and that was some time ago now. But they had some really cool looking models on the flying discs, and they've just made them look even cooler with the new sculpts. And if you check out my Instagram page, I painted the Araman on disc a few years ago now. So yeah, go check it out. It looks pretty cool. These look nice. Although, I think it was Pete the Wargamer who designed something similar to this a few years ago. Regardless, they look awesome. I like how this one is splitting apart and it's just got gooey fleshy bits inside. And all the eyes on this one looks awesome. So yes, these are the Argent Shards. Might be worth mentioning what they're actually called. So they spread the corruptive power of change across the battlefield with a pair of twisted Argent Shards. Twin splinters of sorcerous crystal carved from the innards of a silver tower that radiates Tzeentchian magic. Any friendly sorcerers who linger nearby find the magical wellspring overflowing, letting them draw on even greater power to fuel spectacular spells. And you get 2 in the kit. So Sigmar has faction terrain for most, if not all, factions, and this is just something to boost your magic abilities when playing Sigmar. This guy is a Fate Master. Like I say, really cool model. I like how they've painted it. I really like the colour of the armour and the multicoloured feather coming off behind him. And then we've got the Magister on the Disc of Zinch with his 5 eyes. Who needs 5? No one needs that many. And then we've got Spearhead Zangor Warflock. Warflock or Warflock? You decide. Yeah, we've got the what are they called? So lead a rapid force of Zinch's mutant minions into the Spearhead arena with the Zangor Warflock, which combines the blazing speed of disc-mounted warriors with punchy mutative powers. In this balanced and effective Spearhead force, you get 1 Zangor Shaman mounted on a Disc of Zinch, 3 Zangor Skyfires, 3 Zangor Enlightened, and 10 Zangors following behind on foot. Plentiful supply of capable combat troops, furthering the Changer of Ways' ineffable agenda. Or you can use them to just expand your current Disciples of Zinch army. Because who doesn't like having more models in their army? That's what we're all here for, isn't it? I did at one point have Thousand Suns, and the Zangors were all pretty cool, but I just could not get behind painting the painting all the trim and stuff on the Marines. And now I've got Night Lords, but shh, don't talk about that. We have the Battle Force Warpflame Cavalcade. This looks fun. Well, you got Screamers, Blue Horrors, Pink Horrors, Brimstone Horrors. You got some Flamers. Yeah, 3 Flamers of Zinch and 1 Exalted Flamer of Zinch, which is this guy here. And then you've got the 1 Herald on Zinch, Herald of Zinch on a Burning Chariot, and then you have the big boy, Lord of Change, or Kairos Fate Weaver, I believe it is. Yes, Kairos Fate Weaver. So this will be one of the limited boxes that you can buy. It will possibly fly off the shelves. Depends if there are any demon players out there wanting more demons, because they haven't had a great deal of love in this edition of 40k, all of which these can be used in, or could be used in. I'm assuming they can still. Then we have the Regiments of Renown Seekers of Silver. And who do we have in here? Add a touch of magical class to your other Chaos armies with the Regiment of Renown hailing from the Disciples of Zinch, the Seekers of Silver. This compact flying force comprises a Gaunt Summoner, a Magister, and 3 Screamers of Zinch. So I guess this guy with the triangles on his head, that's the Gaunt Summoner. Why does it remind me of something from Pan's Labyrinth? Then you got the War Scroll cards and dice. And then we get down to the Lumineth Realm Lords. So we have Zinch, and then we have Cow Elves. We have the Venari Lord Regent, which is giving off Prince Uriel vibes for the Eldar in 40k. But I guess it's just a dual back banner. Never seen the point of a back banner myself. It seems like they just get in the way. And this is the other build you can do them as. Which one do I prefer? I guess both have the similar pose, kind of. He's holding his helmet there, holding his shield here. Sword to the side, whereas this sort of loft. Both of them have the flowing cloak, which is always the draw for me, because I like painting cloaks and cloth in organic shape. I think I kind of preferred this one, personally. But what I usually do in this situation is I get 2 of them and I build both, because I'm a hobby addict, sorry to say. Anyway, we also have the Spearhead Hurricane Vanguard. So we have lots of cow people. Don't know what they're all called. Fly like the wind and strike with the power of a hurricane by enlisting the aid of the Hurricane Vanguard, a new spearhead force that combines swift elementary with resolute Venari infantry. The Hurricane Spirit of the Wind is the big hitter of the group. I guess that's this big whirlwindy thing here. Armed with a vicious bow of the Wind's vengeance, and is joined by a Hurricane Wind Mage, 5 Hurricane Wind Chargers, and 10 Venari Wardens to hold the line. So that'll be the Wind Mage, riding on a cloud. And then we've got the Wind Chargers of these up here, which look like, I don't know, kangaroo cows? You can't really see it up close, but I remember seeing these when they were very first revealed. And yeah, it's an odd combination. Interesting, but odd. And then we have Battle Force Iliathan Warhost. And that's just a lot of elves on foot. Basically. Elves with spears, elves with bows, elves with swords. This one's got 2 swords. And then we've got a big old bow up here. And then we have a Regiment of Renown, which is a sigil convocation. So it's this guy and some scenery. Cool looking scenery, I'll give it that. I like this thing. It'd be a dab hand of painting lightning with the amount that's on this Void Dragon in front of me. And then obviously you have the War Scroll cards and dice. And then we get to 40k. Now this is all just made to order Marines. Ooh, Space Wolf. So spot the characters and name them if you can. If any of them actually have a name. Yeah, is that all Tigerius or is that just a regular librarian? Terminator Chaplain. I'm guessing some form of Terminator Captain, because this guy's got the Psychic Hood, so he's a librarian. These aren't made to order, they don't look that old. Well, they're just regular librarians, apparently. So it says, first up, you'll be able to pick up a set of 4 metal captains from the Ultramarines, Space Wolves, Dark Angels, and Blood Angels chapters, bristling with iconography, and following them is a set of 3 metal and resin characters in Terminator armor, Captain, Librarian, and Chaplain, and a pair of plastic Terminator Librarians complete the gang. Yeah, these guys aren't plastic, and they're relatively new sculpts, but I suppose they're not the same scale as the newer ones. So these are plastic and resin? Metal and resin, sorry. I guess that guy's metal. The other 2 are going to be resin. And then down here, oh look, it's Calgar and I guess Sicarius. Many Ultramarine characters have been updated lately. Now you can get your hands on their classic counterparts with a special metal and plastic set that includes Miles Calgar, Chaplain Cassius, Sergeant Tellian, Chief Librarian Tigerius, and Cato Sicarius. That is an old Tigerius sculpt, for sure. I don't even know if this guy's been around for a while. It should be Sergeant Tellion. I'm not up to date on Ultramarines lore, so you'll have to forgive me on that one. And then to top it all off, the Beloved Armour Through the Ages set returns once more, so you can add Space Marines and classic marks of armour to your collection. Each set contains 5 resin and plastic miniatures, 1 in each Mark 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 patterns of power armour. Paint them in your favourite Legion colours for a great Horus Heresy era display. In other words, we have all this extra stock in the warehouse that we need to get rid of, so please buy it. And then White Dwarf issue 521. And some books. So we have Astrid Thurga, Pyre of Faith. That'll be a sister's novel. Nice cover art for the special edition one, I've got to say. And then First Marshal, that's a Sigmar novel. Again, knocking out the park with the artwork. I'm really, really terrible for buying books based on the cover art. And the Witch Hunter's Handbook. And then some Warhammer Plus stuff. Oh, we've got a Darkwater bat rep, but look at it. And then painting Eisenhorn, potentially. If you want to check out those on Warhammer Plus, if you happen to subscribe. If not, I don't blame you. And back in the room, there we go. So there we have it. That is coming up for pre-order on Saturday. And I don't know when the other ones, what are they called? Have I forgotten the name already? Not that one. Nope. Mutilators, there we go. And I don't know when the Mutilators are coming out. They will be at some point. But they look kind of cool, and I want to get some. I assume I'll be able to use them with Night Lords. Pretty sure, yeah, they're in the regular, or the main Chaos Codex. Unlike my World Eaters, who have their own supplement, which is sparse, to say the least. And they can't take from the regular Chaos book, like Space Marines can take from, or like the Chaos Supplement Legions can take from the main Chaos book, Space Marine book. Words. But yes, lots of hobby to do. Speaking of hobby, I haven't had a great deal of time to do any this week. But this guy's coming on. The base is dry brushed red because I wanted to do it on a dusty red planet, so you can still see the grey through it. And I've managed to get some of the dust onto the black stone around the base. The scarabs on all the rocky bits are painted. I just need to do the orange glow bits, and the metallics still need doing, but I always leave them to last because I do not like painting metallics. Aside from that, pretty close to the finish line. Still need to finish off his spine as well, but there's not a lot to do on that before it gets glued on. So I will be uploading a very short video on doing the dry brushing for anyone who is unsure how to do it, and how I just went about doing the base on this guy. Hopefully get it finished in the next week, maybe, because I have other projects I want to move on to. I have other projects I need to move on to if I'm ever going to actually enter these painting competitions I've signed up for this year. But with that, have a wonderful week. I will see you all soon. Please check out the new videos when they pop up, and like, subscribe, all the other jazz, and I shall see you all in the next video. Goodbye.